So a few months back, I did a shoe review on the Lems Primal 2. It's a great minimalistic shoe that is zero drop, close to the ground. It's got a nice wide toe box so that your feet can do what they need to do. And somebody commented on the video saying that I should review the new Lems Primal Zen, which is the heir apparent to the Primal 2. So I reached out to Lems and suggested that I do a review on the new shoe that's coming out this spring, and they sent me a pair. So this is going to be my official review of the Lems Primal Zen. Okay, let's dive right into it. I got these shoes yesterday evening, so I didn't really get a chance to wear them then, but today was my first full day walking around inside of these, and I've got some really cool first impression thoughts. As a direct comparison to the Primal 2, these are definitely a lot thicker in the sole. I think the Lems Primal 2 are set at around 9 millimeters of stack height, not including the insole. The Primal Zens are at 11 millimeters without their 3 millimeter insole, which is the cork insole that they use in a couple of their other shoes. So altogether with the inside of the shoe, you're looking at about 13 millimeters of stack height. Now, for some of you who are used to the Primal 2s and you are thinking about picking these up, just understand that these I don't think are designed for getting people's feet as close to the ground as possible. And in fact, they're more designed for comfort for the everyday person, which makes this a really good transition shoe for someone who's never been in a zero drop or minimalistic shoe before and wants to try to dip their toes, so to speak, into this field. The additional cushion and stack height of this shoe is not something that takes away from the beauty of the Lems shoe altogether. Remember that this is still a zero drop shoe, which means from the heel all the way to the toe, it's a zero drop. So your heel cord is not going to be elevated. Your calves aren't going to get shortened from having your heels elevated all day long. There's no artificial toe spring that's thrown into the shoe. It's still a very good flat shoe with plenty of room in the toe box to allow your feet to do what they need to do. One of the initial standout features for me is the toe box. It's actually one of my favorite toe boxes in all the minimalist shoes that I've worn. I usually don't pick a minimalist shoe unless it's going to have an anatomical shaped toe box, but I specifically like the Primal 2s and the Primal Zens for how much room there is in the toe box. I want my feet to be able to spread and splay naturally, and over time eventually adapt to the width that's in here and not stay crunched inside of narrow toe box shoes. The overall construction of the Zen is really nice. It's got the same mesh upper that the Primal 2 has. Super breathable. You can feel the air flowing down into your shoe, which is going to help keep your feet a little bit more breathable. It's also got a little bit of the suede material that's built around the outside edges of the shoe. It's got a nice touch to it. It also kind of moves across the top of the forefoot. Gives it a really nice design. The ankle and heel area is a little bit more reinforced and built up than the Primal 2s are though, which is kind of nice for hugging the foot, keeping it in place, and feeling a little bit more comfortable for people who may not be used to the minimalist feeling that the Primal 2s offer. The tongue is also attached to the inside of the shoe, so it's not going to slide around from side to side. It's got a couple of attachments on the edges that will keep it in place and keep it comfortable all day long. Lems does a really good job of branding the shoe without it being too much. So on the sides of the shoe, there's a little Lems tag that just kind of lets you know what it is that you're wearing. There's a little bit of Lems branding on the tongue and on the tips of the laces. And then just on the inside, right around the heel, there's a little marker that says Primal Zen to let you know that this is a little bit different than the Primal 2s. The tread pattern on this shoe is actually pretty good. If you wanted to take these on a light hike through the woods or into the mountains, or just over some rocks, it's going to offer plenty of protection for your feet. It's got good grip to it. I don't think it's something that is going to break down too quickly over time. It's got very deep grooves, and I think it'll last. As far as sizing goes for the Primal Zen, I chose to go up a half size based on what the sizing chart showed on Lems' website. Their wording says that it fits true to size. So my recommendation for you is if you're on the smaller end of a particular whole size with your Lems Primal 2s, I would stay with that same size. But if you're kind of in the middle or maybe even approaching the maybe this is a little too small sizing with your Primal 2s, I would consider going a half size up. On their website, the chart shows, for me, a size 9 for the Primal 2s, and if you go directly down the chart to sizing for the Zens, it shows 9.5, and I did that. I definitely have a little bit more room in this and maybe could have squeezed into the 9s, but I personally would rather have a little bit more room than not enough room at all. So anywhere between your true to size or maybe a half size up is gonna feel just fine in these. That does it for my first impressions and construction overview. I'm gonna wear these for a couple of days and come back to the video and let you guys know how these feel after wearing them a bunch and give you an idea of who these might be the best for.
One eternity later.
All right guys, I'm back. It's a couple days later and I've had an opportunity to wear these at the clinic and at the gym all day long. And here are my thoughts on who I think this shoe might be the best for. If you are somebody who is just now entering into the world of minimalistic and naturally shaped footwear, this is a really good option for you to start with because it has the zero drop that we want, it has the naturally shaped wide toe box that we want, but it also offers plenty of cushion. And the reason this is a great feature for new people who are entering into the world of minimalistic footwear is you're probably used to shoes that are really cushioned and built up anyway, and you need a better transition shoe into that lifestyle. If you were to go from something like a Brooks running shoe as your everyday tennis shoe into something like the Zero shoes or even the Lems Primal 2, you're gonna be having a hard time transitioning from super cushiony to really flat, and it might hurt your feet and it might take longer for you to want to be able to wear these. What's great about the Primal Zen is that it has that 11mm stack height before you add the 3mm insole on top of that. So it offers you plenty of cushion and protection for everyday wear, but it also offers the great benefits of a wide toe box and zero drop. I do want to highlight though that this was actually kind of a problem for me. And don't get me wrong, I like the shoe. I definitely don't think it's a bad shoe at all. I think it looks good and I think it feels great, but I'm so used to wearing super flat, close to the ground shoes all day long that my arches had a hard time readjusting to having so much stack height that I felt like they were working in double overtime to try to stabilize my foot all day long while I was at work. After about 4 or 5 hours of continuous wear, I felt myself wanting to slip them off and go roll my foot around on a lacrosse ball or a peanut to try to get out some of the soreness and the stiffness that my arches were feeling from being posted up so much. I think Lems did a fantastic job of creating a shoe that has all the benefits of the Primal 2, but geared it more towards people who are trying to transition out of modern footwear into something that's a little bit more natural for their feet. But for somebody like me who's been wearing super flat, close to the ground shoes, this is a little bit of a change up, and I will definitely find myself wearing these probably not as often as I would like to, but I'll still throw them in there every now and then because it's a comfortable shoe and I like the way that it looks. Overall, there really aren't that many negatives associated with this shoe. I think it's an overall great shoe, and I'm pretty happy that Lems came out with something like this for so many of you who are looking to get into this world of footwear. If you're interested in picking up a pair of these, you can click the link in the description and that'll take you over to Lems' website where you can order your first pair of Primal Zens or any other pair of Lems that you want. For me personally, would I choose these over the Lems Primal 2? No. And that's because I have my own very specific reasons for liking being closer to the ground versus being more cushioned and raised up from that point. But for you, it might be different. You might want a little bit more cushion instead of being so close to the ground like the Lems Primal 2 offer, and that's totally okay. Maybe you even want to start with these and then graduate towards the Primal 2s and see where your foot journey takes you. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions about the Primal Zen or the Primal 2, just post those down in the comments and I'll be sure to get to as many of those as I possibly can. If you enjoy videos like these, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications, and make sure you like today's video as well because that really helps that algorithm send it out to more people just like yourselves. So until next time, just go out and enjoy time with your friends and family, get some sunshine, and I'll see you in next week's video.